Good Sunday evening to the Alabama baseball fans across the state. This cold state right now. It's baseball season, I guess. But welcome on to episode 4 of season 5 of Around the State, a Prep Baseball Alabama podcast discussing all things relative to high school baseball across the state. And as you are aware, we are getting closer and closer to the start of the season, just a couple weeks away. Obviously excitement's building across the state with teams, coaches, fans, players, everybody. We had a special podcast last week where we drafted some teams from our January events, and we are now back on our regular podcast schedule, I guess you can say. We're going to bring on 2 coaches here in just a little bit, let them talk about their teams and just go over a couple things. But again, this will be more of our regular podcast. Good evening, Austin. How are you, man?
I'm good. Kind of able to catch a break for a few weeks on the back end of our preseason events, and then with the high school season coming up here in a few weeks. But like you said, once it gets cold and we start talking about snow, we know it's baseball season. So I know we had some of the state deal, especially the northern part, deal with some winter weather past couple of days, and then they say there's another storm coming next week. So we'll see. But just continuing to count down the days till first pitch. We've got trying to bridge the gap between our preseason events and the high school season with content. We've got a couple of new things that we're going to start rolling out here starting tomorrow. A new article that'll come out tomorrow. Just some players who we think have a chance to break out this season, and then some other stuff that'll come in the weeks to come. But just ready for high school baseball.
Man, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk briefly, not in depth, and this will be an opportunity for our listeners, our audience, I guess you can say, not listeners, but our audience, to chime in the comments section here. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't just briefly mention, I don't want to call it a bombshell but briefly mention what took place on Friday with the AHSAA, reclassifying. We knew this was coming. It had been delayed. There was some speculation. Will they split public-private? Will they keep everybody the same? Will they keep 7A? Well, we found out on Friday, and, just like any decision that's made, I mean, this is the Alabama High School Athletic Association or anybody else that is in a situation of authority. Some people are going to like it and some people aren't going to like it. And, we're not here to delve into what's right, what's wrong, how we believe, what we believe. But, if you aren't aware, the AHSAA did go and reclassify, and they have separated the public and private schools across the state. There was no longer a 7A classification in the public schools. It's 1A through 6A. And I've had some people ask me, why did they take 7A out? Well, the reason they took 7A out is because you took out those private schools, which dwindled the numbers. So there was no need for that 7th classification. And then in the private part, classification part, they've got a Division 1 and a Division 2. The Division 1 is the smaller private schools, and Division 2 is the larger private schools. So we go back to a 1A through 6A in the public sector, and then in the private part, you've got the Division 1 and Division 2. Man, there's been a lot of talk about it, and again, I'm no longer coaching, so it doesn't bother me one way or the other, but pretty interesting, wasn't it, Austin? We talked about it in detail a lot on Friday, you and I.
Yeah. And you, I know you didn't mean it this way, but it wasn't a full split. The teams, right, public and private schools, will still be able to play in the regular season. It's just their postseason will be split into public and private, those 2 divisions, right, in private school. But it's a lot of people have their opinions, and you're not going to make everybody happy, but we'll see kind of just how it unfolds. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, Austin. I didn't mean it. They can still play each other in the regular season. That's my fault if I came across that way. But when they get into the state playoffs, there will be a 1A through 6A state championship in the public schools, and then a Division 1 for private and a Division 2. So great question there from Ricky Kelly. So 7A is still a thing in spring sports. This year it is, yes.
That's starting next fall.
Yeah, and I don't want to confuse anyone. This begins with the 26-27 school year. So this spring is the exact same as it's always been. So again, man, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of discussion. So we'll just see how that plays out as we keep continuing down the road. But yeah, I mean, we would just, if we would be remiss if we didn't bring that up, because that's made major waves. I've had people from outside the state, other prep baseball state directors, reach out to me and said, this is what y'all did. And, said, this is what we do now. Or another one said, this is what we might be doing. So yeah, just wanted to bring that up. Before we get into our coaches, do want to just remind you, as we do each week, for our merchandise, our shop, that is shop.prepbaseball.com for some of our good looking stuff that we've got out. There are some new things that have just been placed on the shop. One of them is that Super 60 shirt, where we will have one guy from Alabama, Cam Jenkins from Bob. Yeah, we'll be headed up there to the Super 60. They also got a sick new little beanie there that I thought about getting. I got to cover up my head, man.
It may not be able to fit my head. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So that's just, in case you ever want to get some merch, there it is. Again, I think our merch game has really picked up of late. And Austin's got that piece there, and I love that piece. I'm going to end up getting that eventually. So, yeah, so just want to throw that out there. And, again, the main reason we're having these podcasts preseason is to bring on some coaches. Austin is doing a phenomenal job on the team previews. I think we're up to 81 team previews that have been turned in, that we have gotten out or will be getting out before the season begins. And we try to take one or two of those from the week. And I know this is a little different because we haven't been on our normal Sunday podcast. So we're sort of playing a little bit of catch up, but we've got two coaches coming on tonight. The first one we're going to get started with, and I guess it's okay for me to say this, Austin, this one's special to me. It is I was going to call him a kid. He's not a kid. I was a young man that I was able to coach in high school. Was a great player, and is now doing hit bombs. I think 19 in 1 year, the school record at Huntsville High School. Went to Wallace State. Went from there, was going to sign with UAB, but got drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates, played in their organization for a couple years. He's now entering his first season at Hazel Green High School after being at New Hope High School the last few years. We welcome on none other than AD, Coach Andrew Dennis, man. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm good. How are y'all? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, we're good, man.
Rope hat. We all three got the rope hat going.
Yeah.
Little Hazel Green rope hat. Appreciate Jace Guyette hooking me up with that. Another former guy.
I talked to Jace. Jace actually texted me today and wants to go have lunch one day. He texted me today. So
there you go.
Sure did. That's right. I guess catchers stay together, right?
Oh, always.
Yeah. 3 catchers on here tonight. That's right. So
yeah.
AD, again, I'm sorry to call you AD. That's just what I've called you forever. Coach Dennis, I'm not being disrespectful there. We really appreciate you coming on. You and I have a special relationship. We talk weekly, multiple times weekly. And you and I have talked about a lot of things. And I've told you that, you and I don't think I'm telling you something you don't already know. You've got a chance to have a really good team this year at Hazel Green. We are pumped that y'all will be in the kickoff classic down at River Run at Northport. Look forward to seeing your players. You've got a talented roster in your first year. You are in 6A Area 16. You compete against Buckhorn, Columbia, Lee Huntsville, and May Jemison. Without being disrespectful, a lot of times that area comes down to Buckhorn and Hazel Green. It may do that again this year. I know those are two, that's a little bit like that Huntsville Grissom rivalry that you had been part of as a player. And that's a big rivalry there between Buckhorn and Hazel Green. But we wanted to ask you some questions about your team, give you a chance to talk about them. The first one is, I think it's an intriguing question is, I think you've got some depth on the mound. What's your plan on handling, or not handling, maybe managing your arms early in the season, keeping them fresh throughout the year?
Yeah, we do have some depth on the mound. But me and the staff, we talked, and I think the way we want to handle it is we're going to have our guys who are our starters and then we'll have our bullpen pieces. So kind of run it like a, college programs, kind of what we've been talking about with that. Got a couple of guys that might be tweeners, but as far as arms early in the season, we've got them built up now to, I think this past week we had our starters through 3 innings in our scrimmages. We were able to scrimmage 3 days. Got those guys built up 3 innings. Our bullpen guys through 2 innings this week. So trying to make sure we keep them built up for their roles. Right now we've kind of got 4 guys that we have pegged as starters. 1 or 2 guys would kind of could be a starter, could be a bullpen piece, depending on matchups. And then we've got 3 or 4 guys that we think are going to be better kind of on the back end. Now, time will tell. Things play out, things happen throughout the year. So could change that, but we like to have a plan going into what we're doing. So that's kind of where we're at as we sit here today. So we'll see what happens as we get into the year and how things kind of play themselves out.
Yeah. It's already been mentioned, Coach Dennis, you bring back a lot for this year's team. Who were since you've gotten there, you've been through workouts, first week of practice. Who are some of those players that have made some big jumps since you've been there? Maybe a few seniors who've kind of taken on a bigger leadership role that you'll depend on this spring.
So since day one, since I've been there, 3 seniors that have they've been out there all fall, been there, like I said, since day one. Andrew Beaverson, who's coming off of an arm injury. He's a big leader for us. Bryce Zimmerman, same thing. And then Elijah Steele, he's one of our POs, but he has really taken on that kind of leadership role with our pitching staff. Looking for him to kind of take the next step. I know last year he spent a lot of time coming out of the bullpen. This year we look at him as being one of our top starters. But Beaverson and Zimmerman, they kind of have the personality of the team, and we'll kind of follow those guys. Like I said, they've done a really good job day one. Our other seniors have done a really good job for us too. We added 3 guys that came from football, so had them a little bit later. So still trying to get to know those guys and kind of their skill set and what they can and can't do, but and how they can help us. But Beaverson, Zimmerman, and Steele, those 3 have been very instrumental to us coming in day one. Very coachable kids, yes or no sir, those type guys. So that makes our job a little bit easier as coaches, having that kind of character with 3 seniors that are your leaders that your guys look up to. So they've made our job very easy so far.
I think I told you this on the phone Thursday when we talked. I love Beaverson, man. Yeah.
Great kid.
Yeah.
He has worked extremely hard coming off his he had the Tommy John brace last year. I think he had it in April. So, he's coming back. We got him on the mound here recently, just fastballs. Hopefully we'll get some off-speed stuff here before too long. So we kind of see him. He's one of those back end of the bullpen guys that we could use. But, yeah, his offense, before he got hurt last year, he was kind of the heart and soul at the top of the lineup for that team. I know they hit him in the leadoff spot. This year we're kind of looking at putting him more in the middle where he can be a run producer for us. So that's kind of where we kind of see him. But great kid, and like I said, he's worked extremely hard coming back from this injury. So I can't wait to see him thrive in his senior year.
Yep. Well, moving on to our next question. Everybody, I think coaches coach to their talent. It's difficult to small ball and still a lot of bags if you have a bunch of guys that can leave the yard on any swing. So you've got to adjust each year to the talent you have. That leads me to my question. With this group coming into this year, what do you see your plan of attack offensively? Do you see small ball? Do you see being able to run the ball of the yard, or is it a combination of a couple different things?
Well, we don't have the sticks that the 2011 Huntsville High Panther team had with 65
I don't think anybody
homers.
did.
So we don't have that kind of firepower. We do have some, but we don't have that kind. We can't live and die with one swing, I don't think. So I've told our guys from day one mentality and how we want to be as an offense is we can play whatever style we need to play that day. If it's a slugfest, we can slug it with some people. We've got some guys that can do that. If we need to play small ball, it's been a point of emphasis for us, especially with certain guys, to be able to handle the bat. and they've done a really good job kind of buying into that. So I think, we've got some running ability. We can run if we need to. I think it's just going to be kind of what kind of game are we in? Are we in a pitcher's duel? We're going to have to manufacture some runs, or is it a game where we got some guys that are hot and we can kind of live and die with one swing? So to answer your question, I think we can play a couple different styles if needed.
Yeah. Well, Coach, looking at when I did your team preview, you've talked about the returning players you've got that you mentioned, Bryce Zimmerman, Andrew Beaverson, and Elijah Steele, guys that you'll look to be to be leaders for your team. It also looks like you've got a very strong junior class. Guys like Colton Clark, and Colton Bentley. Who are some more guys like that? Colton Clark and Bentley are guys that have experience. Who are some more guys, maybe more players in that junior class, or maybe some sophomores or maybe some newcomers this spring that have a chance to compete for starting roles for you?
Well, Colton Clark kind of turned himself into kind of their number one on the mound last year. He has done nothing but kind of take that and run with it since I've been there. 3-pitch guy, very confident on the mound. So that's, a spot that we'll look at him. The other thing with him is we need some protection with a couple of the guys in the lineup. I think he provides that for us, kind of in the middle of that order, being able to drive in runs. Colton Bentley, another guy, left-handed swing, very, very smooth. Defensively, kind of a utility guy. Can use him on the infield, can use him in the outfield. He can be very versatile, so that's a very nice piece to have. And then 2 other guys hadn't mentioned, Blaine White. If we'd had an MVP in our fall World Series, it would have gone to Blaine White. Catcher, pitcher, swung it well in the fall. Does a really good job with the pitching staff when he's catching. And then, he's the guy that through our exit meetings and stuff, we talked about role with him and kind of being able to manage the pitcher catcher combo. So we're thinking of using him kind of in the back end, something he probably hadn't been used to yet, but we let him close the other day and he comes in and did a really good job in his 2 innings, working on some new stuff. So don't want to tell anybody what that is, but he's working on some new stuff, and it's paying off. So, and then the other guy, the sophomore, Ty Hunter. Ty Hunter can be electric. Very good on the mound. He's worked extremely hard in the weight room, getting stronger. Saw a picture of him from like the first day of school to now, and it's like his body's changed, and it's all for the better. But he's got speed. We're going to put him in center and tell him go get it. And he's a guy that I think can hit anywhere from the top of the order to the middle, just kind of whatever we need from him. And then on the mound, he could be one of those tweeners. He could be a guy, I call him that, but he could be a guy that could start if you need a spot start. But having a lefty to throw strikes with his pitch ability coming out of the pen to finish a game, that's kind of what we're looking at with him for. So, yeah. But Ty and Blaine had really good off seasons. So looking forward to seeing them.
We had our preseason draft a couple of days ago, and I think Colin drafted Ty Hunter. And first thing I said was an out getter. He'll get you some outs. He can pitch, that's for sure.
I told AD that.
That's a good pick by Colin. Colin's paying attention to the previews.
Look at Stuart Cassingham, man, giving Coach AD some love, man. The good
Stuart, that's a good one. I hope Charlie has a really good first year down there at South.
I just saw his pictures on Facebook. His up close pictures at South Alabama. Good luck to Charlie and the Jaguars this year. And I see we've got some questions out there about the public-private. Let us get through these 2 coaches, and we'll get to those towards the end of our episode. We've got another coach coming on here in just a second. We're going to wrap this up with Coach Dennis here, and I think this is an intriguing question. And I think there is a simple answer that every coach in the state will give to this question. And the question is, what does success look like for Hazel Green when the season is all said and done at the end of this year? I mean, again, the easy thing is 6A state championship, and I'm sure that's your goal, and that's everybody else's head coach's goal, across the state. But what's success look like for you when y'all get done with this year's?
Yeah, I mean, easy answer. If you were to ask the guys in our locker room, it's going to be, we want to win a clear blue map. It used to be a blue map. Now it's a clear blue map. We've got one on the scoreboard at Hazel Green, and we keep talking about, we want to put another one up there for 2026. And, I do think that could be, obviously, in order to win one, you've got to have some luck on your side. You've got to be healthy. You've got to catch people at the right time. You've got to, I remember when we won ours in 2011, we got to host every round. I don't know that happens every day. So we did not have to go on the road at all. And so again, kind of luck being on your side.
We also
plays a role in that. But.
We also were out of the playoffs going into the last area series.
Yeah, we were. We needed some help, and
got 10 run by Spain Park in game 1.
Yeah, you didn't have to bring that one back up. That we flushed that one. But no, I think easy answer is to win a state title for us. I want to keep our guys healthy. I think we've taken a big step with that in our weight room program in this offseason, what we've been able to do. So I want to keep those guys healthy all year. Beaverson got hurt, somewhere in there last year, and so keeping them healthy would be big. And then just you want to be playing right at the right time. New staff coming in, kind of some new things that we're implementing and just getting everybody comfortable with how we want to do it and ironing our kinks out. That's why we're trying to scrimmage a lot as much as we can so we can kind of iron some of that out before we get down there to see you guys in Northport. So, yeah, easy answer is state title, but we know there's a lot of things that have to happen to get to that point. And our guys are definitely working their tails off to achieve that. I told them my job is to put them in situations to be successful, myself, and the rest of the coaching staff, but also kind of let them be players, let them play, and my job's not to screw it up. So,
yeah, well, I know you'll do a great job, and we wish you and the Trojans nothing but the best this spring. As I said, this is a special one for me, you coming on. We're glad that you agreed to join us. And we'll be seeing you that first weekend of the season down at River Run in a always tough kickoff classic field. And again, Coach Dennis, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much, and best of luck to y'all this spring. Okay.
Hey, thank y'all, and thank y'all for all y'all do for high school sports or high school baseball in the state of Alabama. Obviously, this one, getting to talk to you guys, special to me too because of our relationship, and I always appreciate that, but appreciate y'all having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about our team.
Appreciate it,
Appreciate
Coach.
it.
Sorry. Take care, brother. Talk to you soon, man. I didn't want to put him on the spot, but the Trojans have a chance this year.
They do have a chance. Yeah.
They do. And there's some really good 6A teams out there, and it's as always, 6A is going to be a gauntlet again this year. So, he's they've got a good team coming back. He's into a good situation there. So appreciate his time coming on. Next, we're going to be joined by Demopolis High School head coach, Coach Luke Tucker. Coach Tucker is going to come on with us. There's Coach. How you doing, Coach Tucker? Can you hear me, Coach?
Oh, hey guys, sorry. I apologize.
You good?
It's all good. Now I will tell you, when I don't know if you got to hear any of the first interview there. When we brought Andrew Dennis on at 8:10 and we said you were going to start at 8:20, we knew there was no shot of you starting at 8:20 with Coach Dennis talking. We knew you'd be a little bit late, but we didn't want to tell you that. So
that's fine, Coach. Look, you won't have any problem with that with me.
To be honest, 5 minutes late is pretty impressive, though.
I hear you. It is. So, Coach, we greatly appreciate you coming on. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us tonight. We just want to talk talk to you about your team. Coming off a good year last year. I know you've got to be excited about this year. You are in 5A Area 7 with Jemison, Montevallo, and Selma. You won that area last year. I'm almost certain of that. Yes, you did.
Yes.
And then, again, you've got to be excited about this year. You made it to the Sweet 16 last year. And, nobody knows what the future holds, but, without repeating myself again, spirits have to be high this year. So
they are. We had a great year last year, and most of my team is returning. So yeah, I'm excited to see my guys compete. They work really hard, and they spent a lot of time in the weight room this year, and a lot of summer ball for them. Just got to stay healthy, and at a 5A program, you don't have that many numbers, so you have to be able to stay healthy throughout the year, and then you just watch them compete and hope the ball bounces your way.
And you know what? The night before, you're always scared to death because you feel like you're prepared, but you may go out and look like a circus the next day. That's just how
absolutely.
it is. That's how it is.
Baseball.
That's right. That's right. So, again, we appreciate you coming on. Ask you a couple questions about your team. Let you talk about some of your players and just some of your expectations for this year. We'll get cranked up with, we talked about your 2025 campaign, Sweet 16 appearance. What are some things that have gone on inside your program since the conclusion last year? And, some things that you obviously, that you're excited about that maybe you've stepped up your game in different areas as you head into this 2026 season.
Well, we had a lot of guys play summer ball and really good programs, really good summer teams. And they got to get seen by college coaches, and I had 5 guys sign this last week. They all signed together, which was awesome to see. I have another kid, a shortstop, Jake Powell, that has had several offers, and I'm hoping the right one comes along for him because I'm biased. I think he's the best defensive shortstop in the state of Alabama. I know he plays for me, but I've enjoyed watching him play. He's really smooth, great arm, a lot of speed. But these guys work, like I said earlier, they work extremely hard in the weight room. And, you don't see too many programs that go in there and work the way they do. It helps that I have 8 of my 10 seniors. They all play football. So, they're in there and they're working hard in the summertime. Putting them pads on just makes them a little bit tougher. And so I'm really excited to watch them. And, we got started, but this weather is not cooperating like it should. So, I think last year we didn't miss a day on the field, and we're already missing days on the field. So,
no doubt. Well, Coach, looking at your team preview, last year y'all had a great year.
I can't hear him, Coach.
All right, you can't hear Austin?
I can't hear Austin.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, yeah. Then I'll ask the questions for you. Then Austin mentioned, he did his team preview, and obviously we're very aware of most of the players on your team, all those guys that signed. Who on your team, and you talked 8 of 10 guys coming back, who on your team has really embraced leadership and has really taken on that initiative as being some of the leaders for your club heading into 2026?
Well, we have Jack Pritchett that pitches for us, and Colton Cargrove and Josiah Cargrove. And those 3 guys are the guys that you don't have to watch in the weight room. They're going to get every single rep. And Josiah Cargrove is one of these guys that after practice, he's always the last one to leave. He's always the one that's going to clean the locker room up, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. And those guys they've worked really hard, and their dedication to baseball is phenomenal. They super proud of them. It's a very tight-knit group. They've been playing ball since they were together since they were 6-7 years old. So it is those 3 jump out on the page because of their work ethic.
I'm not saying that those 3 are your best players, but they are. I'm sure they're 3 of your best players, and it's always gratifying, and it's a good sign for your team when some of your best players are also some of your best leaders.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's got to be satisfying for a coach. So, moving right along, we'll go to the next question. Every year, coaches look at strengths and weaknesses. Don't want to call them weaknesses, but maybe areas that you would like to see some improvement. What are some strengths that you see for your team moving into this season? And then what do you think are some areas where maybe you're yet to see, you want to see how it plays out, and maybe some question marks heading into the season?
Well, our strengths are definitely our pitching. We're very deep pitching. We have a couple of guys that sign good arms. Our defense is really good. That's always been really good in Demopolis. From the previous coach telling me, Coach Moody. I know everyone knows who he is. He's a legend. But that was what he always prided himself on, was pitching and defense. So that just kind of just fell along. The guys have been doing it their whole life, and they're really good at it. I would say our weaknesses right now are we need to improve at the plate. we have a lot of power in our lineup and got a few guys that can run. Our consistency's got to get better. We've got to be able to go out there and put balls in play and not strike out as much. Putting some pressure on some defenses, and we got the guys that 4 or 5 guys in a lineup that can leave the park at any time. Really strong guys, good bat speed, but you can't rely on that. So they got to be more consistent at putting balls in play and putting pressure on defense.
Well, if you pitch and play defense, and you don't have to score 8 or 9 runs, possibly.
Exactly.
3 or 4 may win it if you pitch and play defense. So
I hope that's the case. I hope we can score 3 or 4, and that'll work.
I hear you. Well, I know we're looking forward to seeing y'all down at the South Alabama Showdown, man. That's going to be a good event down there. So
we're excited about getting down there.
Yeah, we hope we have good weather down there.
I hope it warms up. We're getting all the cold weather out of the way.
I hope you're
miserable.
right. Last year it was cold for us the first night, so we deserve some better weather this year. So let's hope we get it.
We're getting the bad weather out of the way this year. So
yeah, all right. All right, next question. You've already mentioned a couple of the players outside of those ones that you've mentioned previously. Who are some names that we may hear from your team this year, fans may need to know about of those 3 that you haven't mentioned? Who are some other guys that you look to take that next step forward this year for your team?
Well, you got Bryce McElroy, who was a starting catcher last year, a really good catcher. He's going to Gaston State, so he's a really good ball player. Jake Powell, my shortstop, I talked about him. J.W. McAlpin, he pitched for us some last year, really good pitcher. He did an outstanding job for us. He's going to have a role in the outfield this year. So he's coming together as a hitter. Got a lot of power. He's a natural leader. He was our quarterback on the football team, so that helps him. Bryant Dees plays third base. Really good ball player. He's going to have a bigger role this year because I need him to come in and throw some strikes. I need a little bit more depth out of him pitching wise. Braxton Vice signed to play with Huntington. He's our first baseman. Really good ball player, left-handed hitter. Got some power, does a good job staying inside balls, hitting balls the other way. Tucker Caps, speedy guy, he's my center fielder. Handles the bat really well, puts balls in play, and can do things on the bases. And then another kid, Connor Reynolds, who I expect to come in and throw some innings for me. But that's pretty much 10 seniors, so hopefully they're ready to go. They're old enough, they better be ready.
Amen. That's exactly right. Well, I'm sure they'll be ready, and I'm sure they'll do a good job for you. To wrap us up, you mentioned this briefly already, but do want to ask you this. We asked Coach Dennis this same question previously. Style of offense that you see for this year. I know you mentioned that's an area of that you're looking for some improvement. What do you, in a perfect world, what do you see out of your team? Are you small balling, running a lot of bases? You said you got 4 or 5 guys can leave the yard. What do you see out of your team offensively?
We are, like I said, we have 5 or 6 kids that can leave the yard. I don't like to rely on that because that's not going to always happen. I think I got the guys that can go gap to gap. They'll get hot at the plate and they look really good at the plate. But there's games where you're going to have to play a little small ball. And I have 4 or 5 kids in the lineup that can run, and they do a good job of bunting and hitting balls on ground, moving people over. They don't like to bunt. It's the high school baseball now. It's changed. People like to hit the long ball, but they know too. They want to win. They'll do whatever it takes to get a win. So they'll buy in and they'll get balls. They'll bunt some, move some runners over, and hopefully we can score them.
There's nothing better in baseball than drag bunting, dirt ball read to second base, guy behind you goes 4-3 to get into third, and then a sack fly in the outfield to score, man.
It's a beautiful thing. You just got to get them to buy into it these days.
Amen. That generating runs, man. That's what's fun. So absolutely. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you coming on tonight, taking a couple minutes to talk about your team. I know excitement is high there. As I've already mentioned, our South Alabama Showdown, we've got 20 teams coming. That event gets better every year, and we're fortunate that we can bring some teams down there that we haven't had in the past. Glad you are going to be down there. Going to play some really good teams down there as well. So
yes, we look forward to it. We look forward to getting down there.
Well, good. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you for coming on. Hope the weather gets better for you, and best of luck this spring. Okay, Coach?
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Coach Luke Tucker at Demopolis High School, and he's right, man. I mean, we've seen a lot of their guys at events. They've got a talented roster.
Yep. They got arms too. Like
Yep.
he talked about it, but Jack Pritchett, we've seen. Yeah. So it'll be a team to watch in 5A, and they're a big reason why they're coming to the South Alabama Showdown. So excited to see them here in about a month.
Yep, no doubt. I'm gonna bring up that one question, Austin, that we talked about. If you don't mind, we're gonna touch on that. We mentioned briefly at the beginning of the podcast that we didn't want to get into, are we for it? Are we against it? Because we know there's a lot of people for it. We know there's a lot of people against it. And the only thing we want to do is create a platform for high school baseball in the state. That's the reason we do our polls. That's the reason we're out covering games. That's the reason we're running this podcast. A lot of people don't like our rankings when we put them out there. Our rankings will never be perfect, but we do try to take into consideration a lot of things in that. And this question was asked, and without going into a lot of detail, with the private-public split in Alabama, where do you see the top talent shaking out? Public 6A, private AA, etc. That's weird that you bring up both of those things, because offline, Austin and I have talked about it, and I want to be careful what I say, because I don't want someone to say, well, you didn't mention this, so you must not think this is high-level baseball. I mean, you look at that private AA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got a chance to have some larger private schools that have consistently played for state championships over the last 4 and 5 years. Man, that could really be a juggernaut of a division. I mean, without going into specifics, you can go look at those schools for yourself. I don't want to talk about certain schools, because then you leave someone out, someone gets upset, and that would not be the case here. But I think that private AA will be good. And you mentioned 6A. I mean, 6A, basically what you just did is you just combined a lot of 6A and a lot of 7A, but then you go on down the line. Now 5A is a combination of 5A and some 5A and some 5A schools. Man, I think it got tougher for everybody, man.
You combined 7A, and then you took the top group of 6A schools and lumped them into 6A. So that's public 6A will be very, very competitive. And 7A and 6A were already competitive on their own, and now you kind of lump those two a little bit in together. It'll be some good competitive baseball, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then that goes on down to 5A, because now 5A's got some of those 6A's that are now down to 5A. I mean, so it's going to get. I was speaking to someone today about 5A, about how difficult it's going to be. So, yeah, I mean, again, we don't know. We appreciate the question, Tyler. That is a very good question. And that allows us to answer without going into how our feelings about it. So we appreciate that. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move forward with this. Austin, you want to talk about the next thing there, the content, or want me to do it? Doesn't matter.
I'll go into it. Like you said, we do we're rolling out 2, may start rolling out 3 a day. Those team previews, those are submitted based off of team questionnaires that high school coaches submit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can reach out to us if you're a high school coach of a high school that has not filled out a questionnaire. All you got to do is simply reach out to us, and we'll share that questionnaire with you, and you'll fill it out and then submit it back to us. And then before the high school season starts, you'll have a team preview that'll be released to our website and to our social channels. Like you said, we've got 81 submitted so far. Those will kick back up tomorrow, go all the way through Friday. We've got, like I mentioned before we brought our coaches on, we've got a new kind of not special content idea. We've got some filler content ideas that are coming out here in the next couple of weeks leading up to first pitch. Some breakout candidates will be this week, I think, coming out tomorrow. We think we're going to do some programs on the rise throughout 1A and 7A, and who are some teams who will take a step forward this year, and just fill in the gap between our preseason events and the high school season, just continuing to build hype for the high school season. That's what we're doing here, especially with this podcast, trying to bring coaches on, give more insight into their programs, and just trying to promote these players and teams as best we can in the state of Alabama. We've got uncommitted spotlights that'll come out weekly. On Tuesdays, we'll have a 2026 that'll come out. And then on Thursday will be a 2027. Our updated player rankings. We've had many people ask us when those will be updated. That'll be the week of February 9th. So those all classes player rankings will be updated 2 weeks before the high school season. So be on the lookout for that. And then as always, every year we'll have our preseason polls that'll be coming out live on our podcast episode the Sunday, the week before the season. So this year it'll be Sunday, February 15th. That Sunday night we'll release our 1A through 7A top 10 polls for the preseason. And then obviously the Power 25 will come out the week and a half after, not the first Sunday after the start of the high school season, but the next Sunday, just to give more teams to play more games and to be able to update those rankings. So really that's just trying to, like I said, fill that gap of content up into the high school season. So got a lot of traffic and a lot of things coming on our website. Just so continue to stay tuned. I think it's www.prepbaseballreport.com/Alabama, and I think all of our social media sites are Prep Baseball AL. So got a lot coming up leading up to the high school season.
Yeah, and once that high school season, appreciate it, Lance. We had fun with that draft.
That was fun.
That was fun. Gibbs got drafted. Yep. I forget who it was. I think it was Colin. I think Collins drafted him.
Yeah.
But we had fun with that. Again, our high school events, we'll talk more about them as we get closer. The Kickoff Classic in Northport at River Run, February 20th and 21st. South Alabama Showdown, which we mentioned earlier, February 26th through 28th down in the Orange Beach Gulf Shores area, and then the Small Town Showdown back at River Run, March 6th and 7th for 1A through 3A teams.
Let's go ahead. We can go, since I think we're at 42 minutes. We can go. We can just we released it back in October. We can kind of give a couple minutes for each of our high school tournaments that we've got coming up. We can start with the Kickoff Classic. Just our participating teams for the. Yeah, you're getting some compliments, man.
I'm getting some compliments tonight about the red, man. Yeah, red. I hear you. Just got a text about it. All right. Cy Bird's dad there talking about Saraland. They're going to be good again. So, yep. So Austin's going to talk about our Kickoff Classic, a couple other events real quick, since we did get done a little quicker tonight.
So, like I said, this was our high school events were released back in the fall. The Kickoff Classic let us off on October 22nd. This year, if you're not familiar with the Kickoff Classic, just trying to bring the best, 14 to 16 teams that we can for that high school season, bringing them all together and just playing 3 games across that Friday and Saturday of opening weekend. And just like I said, trying to get the best players and best teams together and just getting to watch some high level baseball. But this year, with the previous years, they've been at 4 host sites in Birmingham, and we greatly appreciate those 4 host sites for allowing us to allow us to have this event there. But this year we're moving to River Run Park in Tuscaloosa. For those who have been there, they can attest to it's a high level facility, and those teams and players and parents that have not been there, that'll be able to check it out at the Kickoff Classic. But this is our load of teams this year. As you see, we've got 3 state champs, 5, 6, and 7A. 5A got an ACA, 6A is Hartselle, and 7A Tuscaloosa County. And then you got Bob Jones, Central Phoenix City, Chelsea, Gardendale, Hazel Green, Helena, Northridge, Northside, Oak Mountain, Pell City, Spain Park, and Thompson. So will definitely be some high level baseball being played at River Run. And then here's the schedule if you want to go check it out. It's over at our website under this AHSAA tab. You'll click, and that's where you'll be able to find all the team previews and all of our high school events and information that we've got coming up. So that's the Kickoff Classic. We'll jump into the South Alabama Showdown. The dates for the Kickoff Classic will be Friday, February 20th, and Saturday, February 21st. Each team will get 1 game on Friday and 2 on Saturday. We'll go into the South Alabama Showdown. This will be the following week. And, man, I love the Kickoff Classic. I love the Small Town Showdown, but this week of baseball is one of my favorites. Getting to go down south. South Alabama Showdown will be Thursday, February 26th through the 28th. will be at our same 4 local host sites: the Gulf Shore Sportsplex, Orange Beach Sportsplex, Robertsdale High School, and Volanta Park. There's the list of teams. Obviously, like we said, we got Demopolis, who we just had on, Coach Tucker. Dothan is a new team that enters this year. You've got your staples, Fairhope and Gulf Shores. Hueytown, Mobile Christian are 2 teams who have been in it for a good bit. Opelika is joining it this year. Orange Beach, another host site, as is Robertsdale, and then Rockmart, the Yellow Jackets, coming over from Georgia. I think they had a great record last year.
I think state championship. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So excited to have them coming down south in Alabama. You've got Russellville, Satsuma. Those are 2 teams who are new to the fold this year. Smith Station, I think, comes back for their 2nd year. And then you got St. Paul's, Tuscaloosa County, and UMS Wright, who have all played in the past years of the South Alabama Showdown. So
shout out Tuscaloosa County playing in both of our events.
There you go.
Start the season out.
And then there's our schedule. Like I said, scroll through it quickly, but if you want to go check it out more in depth, just head over to our AHSAA tab. And then rounding it out, we'll go ahead and get into the Small Town Showdown. This will be the 3rd week of the high school season. Last year was the first year that we did the Small Town Showdown. We have these, the Kickoff Classic, the South Alabama Showdown, trying to bring just the top level high school teams. We kind of thought, and credit to Coach Hall, who we had a couple podcasts on, head coach at Oakman, kind of came to us and said, hey, this would be a cool idea, trying to bring the top teams each year in Class 3A through 1A. And, obviously it was a no-brainer for us. Last year we had it at Sand Mountain Park to debut. And then this year we're switching, obviously, to River Run Park in Northport. This year's Small Town Showdown will be Friday, March 6th through Saturday, March 7th, like I mentioned, at the brand new River Run Park in Northport. Here's your run of teams: Ayrton, Collinsville, Gordo, GW Long, Lauderdale County, Lee Scott, Lindsay Lane, Mars Hill, Oakman, Prattville Christian, Summerton Christian, Sweetwater, and Thomasville. Some really good teams there who will be among the top teams in 1A through 3A, as they are every year. And then here's the full schedule for Friday and Saturday. So yeah, that's those 3 tournaments will kick off the high school season for us. The Kickoff Classic on week 1, South Alabama Showdown on week 2, and then the Small Town Showdown on week 3. So that Kickoff Classic is creeping closer, and I know we both are very excited for it.
Amen. No doubt about it. It's a great event every year. So yeah, we are looking forward to getting started. Obviously no more than the players, coaches, teams alike.
I'm not going to can't let this comment slide.
Let me see. Who's the first best looking?
Yeah.
I know they're not in Mississippi. So
yeah.
Yep. So to wrap us up tonight, just a couple things. We mentioned this on Wednesday night. Many people are already asking summer plans. When are the Yellowhammer State games? They're June the 16th and 17th. They will be at River Run Park in Northport. We've talked about that. That's a home base for us now, pretty much. We are currently working on our other summer schedules, our summer events. The schedule, we'll get that released probably a couple week or two after the high school season gets started. And then as Austin's already mentioned there, if you want to find out, if you want to just keep finding out what's going on across the state there, that AHSA tab on our website, you can click there and you can get everything. You can get everything there that you want under that tab. Team previews, all of our events there. Austin pulls it up there. Mr. Bird, we appreciate it. Thank you for the comment there. We appreciate that. Best of luck to the Spartans this year. So
I was impressive at our South Preseason All-State. So
yeah. Good football player. You can tell he's a physical kid, man. So no doubt about it. So for Austin Sharp, our Alabama scouting director, I am David Sharp, Deep South Supervisor. We appreciate you joining us again for our Coaches Roundtable. Appreciate both coaches coming on. Take care, stay warm, and hope you stay dry as well. And we will see you soon. Thanks again for joining us. Have a good evening.